Okay, so you guys understand that our district is readdressing Tier 1 instruction in math. We put so much focus into small group instruction and making sure that we're meeting our differentiated needs that, unfortunately, we're kind of leaving by the wayside that whole group time. So we're trying to dedicate more minutes into whole group, and we're trying to be more reflective in our practices. And so our district is going to be integrating a new tool called Nearpod. We're going to be using the smart slides that are already built for us on SharePoint. We're going to import it through this tool, and we're going to use it to be more reflective during our Tier 1 instruction. And since we're a one-to-one district, it makes Nearpod an even easier tool to integrate. So you're on the website right now. I figure kind of just the best way to introduce it is just for you guys to touch it to see what it's like. On my screen you can see as the teacher when I log in and I load which lesson I'm ready for us to do, it's going to pop up a code for students to join in on. So you're currently at the place where you've logged into Nearpod, you've put in your student code, and it's asked you for your name. So you are officially in my lesson. So when I click on continue, I can see this is my teacher screen right here. It looks identical to your screen, right? What's cool about Nearpod is that I am the one controlling your screen now. So whenever I tap, your screen moves. I can even see down here who are my 3 participants. So if a kid somehow logs out, I'll know it because it says so right there. Anytime a kid accidentally logs out, a kid's in the bathroom, a kid's pulled by the CC and they have to come in late, the code is always visible at the top and they can invite themselves back in. So at this point, when we start the lesson, we're going to flash up what their objective of the day is so they can reflect on what they need to know. Today, this is obviously going to be like a huge mess of a lesson because number one, you haven't done Mod 5 in 2nd grade before. So of course this is going to be like unnatural territory. Number two, I kind of am just throwing at you every question type you can do on Nearpod, every interaction type you can do so that you can see what it looks like. Basically, Nearpod is a presentation tool. Instead of having smart slides where I have every kid on my carpet with like maybe a whiteboard, maybe manipulatives, they're actually seeing, touching, interacting with the same slides that I'm using for my whole group instruction. So the first question type I'm going to introduce you to is going to be a question type where you type in your answers. So in 2nd grade, we've been studying addition and subtraction. And so I'm opening up with a question of the strategies that we've studied in class, which is your favorite to use and why? So this is when a kid would type in that they prefer a tape diagram, or they prefer doing vertical format because it's more efficient, or a place value chart because I can see clearly how we regroup. Take a moment, type in your answer, see what it feels like to be a student. Type in, what is your favorite strategy for adding and subtracting? Give me some sort of answer. Some sort of, it's Tuesday afternoon, and I survived kind of answer, nothing fancy.
Do I hit edit answers after it's over?
You can always edit your answer. So after you submit, you can see that it's populated on my screen right here.
Okay, so do I...
So here's your name. I can see your answer. And then if you want to edit it, you can always go back and add some more. You kind of have 2 options with Nearpod. I'm glad you're bringing this up. If I were to be the teacher on my computer screen, everything that the kids type, they're visible for everybody to see. And that can be awesome, but that can also be dangerous territory. So another way that you can interact with Nearpod is actually through an app on your phone. And you can control the slides by tapping through your phone. And then the answers pop up on your screen so that it's not for the whole class to see, but it's instead on your device. So that's another option. So you can see the answers right here, and this is where the reflection comes in. Because now you can go through and say, Natasha likes place value because she likes to draw the dots. It's more fun for her that way. She likes to look at it. They look a lot like her chips, right? And then you can have these conversations with the kids where they can reflect upon their answers. When you're ready, when you want to move on, you click to the next slide. Now I'm actually going to go back for a moment here. Do you see this share button? If you really like an answer, if you feel like somebody gave an answer that was fantastic, excellent vocabulary, and you want the kids to reflect on their peers' work, the share button flashes everybody's work, or everybody's screen. Now we can all see Kylan's answer. So if you're like, oh man, Kylan had a great answer, let's read it together, talk to your shoulder partner about what the word efficient means, we can have those conversations, and then unshare when we're done. Then we can go. Keep in mind at any point as well, there's the hide student names option down in the corner as well, if you can see that. So if you're also looking for another form of privacy, you can do that. Here's probably my favorite tool with Nearpod in the Smart Slides is that when I want the kids to interact with them, instead of doing a whiteboard, they can digitally do this on their screen. So you can see in front of you, you have a basic regrouping problem, 499 plus 166. Now you have drawing tools where with your fingers on your screen, because we all have touch-capable devices, we can actually answer the question and show the strategy that we prefer. So take a moment, you'll notice that you have a pencil tool. Go ahead and click on the pencil tool at the bottom. Now you guys can control the size of your pencil, you can control the color of your pencil, and you can draw a place value chart using that. You'll also notice some tools down below. You can toggle between a pencil, a highlighter, eraser, or even a text tool where you can type in your answer. So just kind of play around with it. See what's comfortable. What size is comfortable for you to write with?
Is it easy to get the slides onto Nearpod? Because this is amazing.
Yeah, so the way that the Smart Slides are already set up, if you export it as a PDF instead of saving it as a Smart file, you can then upload it to Nearpod as a PDF and just say, I want this to be a draw slide, I want this to be a multiple choice slide, and then you can send it out. When you're ready and you have your answer, you're confident with it, you can hit submit. For time's sake, don't worry about the explanation box. You know, you give me some excellent explanations from your other slide, and then you can see on the screen it's going to start populating answers right here. So then there's also kind of a public piece to it, that kids get this sense of ownership, because at any point it could be my work that's up on the screen, it could be my work that everybody talks about. And so when you have an answer up there that you get really jazzed about, you can flash it for the screen and say, okay, let's talk about the way that Kylie regrouped her tens and her hundreds. How do you know that Kylie regrouped? And you can see on the screen and have conversations with the Connects you about what you see from Kylie's work here. All right, another question type that you guys can use is fill in the blanks. So if we are doing a sentence, for example, like, when we do a strategy quickly in blank, we say that it is blank. I mean, obviously for me as the teacher, you can see that the blanks I fill in are up there. If you were to have a longer form paragraph, you can have a sentence with a word bank down below that kids can drag their math vocabulary into. And so go ahead and take a moment, drag the words from your word bank, enter it into your sentence where you feel like it's best fit, and then you can send it in. And look at that, it even gives you like a nice little, nice work. You got 2 out of 2. Good job. And that's just another really quick and easy lesson type, or excuse me, question type. But honestly, my favorite Nearpod question type that I like to use, aside from the drawing tools, because obviously that's where you can see the most bang for your buck, I love the reflectionary piece of poll. Because just like we have the sign saying 1, 2, 3, 4, how do I feel about it, you can then give a poll right away. How do your students feel like they grasped the whole group concept before you start your stations? Of course, when you have it on your phone, it can be private. If you hide student names, it's gone. And so a kid is comfortable saying that I struggled with it, I didn't struggle with it. And then as you guys answer, and go ahead, let's really pretend like you don't get it. How about Tasha, you say 1, Kylie, you say 2, Christina, you say 3. Let's get some different answers on there. You can see that it's automatically going to generate a pie graph for you showing the percentages of where your kids are at, if they get it or if they don't. And then you can immediately readjust your instruction from there. So whether it's including a poll at the end of your whole group instruction or kind of inserting it in the middle of your whole group instruction, that's a great tool to kind of test the waters and see how they're feeling. Okay?
The only thing I would feel is me. This is amazing. I would need a tutorial on how to do, like, get it on there. But I think that is totally student friendly.
Which later in our PDP plan, we are going to go over how to get them from the district website, put them on there, and just kind of like Schoology, when it's on there, it's on there. You know, you can access it at any point.
Amazing.
Now, one thing that's also pretty exciting about it, I'm actually going to have have you completely close out of your browser, and I want you to join this lesson again, because I'm going to have you try it in a new and different way. So you've tried doing this as a live lesson. What that means is that I projected it to you, I controlled it, and then we did it together. You can also send it as a student-paced lesson, meaning that from now, within 30 days, a kid can use this code to get into your lesson. So I'm going to launch this code, HCXFE, and then now you're controlling the pace of your lesson. So if a kid struggled with something during MTSS time, you can say, use this code, redo the lesson, and then see where they're at. Or if a parent is saying, I don't understand the homework, I'm not sure how they did this, you can send them the student pace code, and at their own time, within the course of the week, they can do that lesson at home and they can practice it. So are you guys able to toggle through on your own at this point? Yeah, so now you have total control of how it's paced. You would still submit your answers, so there's the accountability. I would still, as the teacher, get your results of what you're doing. But this time, instead of having to work with me, if you have an absent kid, they can go home and do this. If you have a kid who's going on vacation early, because you know we have block leave all the time, say, hey, here are your codes for the week, here are the lessons we're going to do, try them out while you're on vacation. So how do you guys feel like this is going to help with our goal of cooperative strategies, though? Because this is a program where kids have their own individual devices. How can you see this becoming something that kids can collaborate on?
It's going to increase more student talk versus teacher talk.
Definitely. A willingness to share their work.
Yeah.
For the group, I know whenever we have our whiteboards on the carpet, you've got those 2 or 3 kids who have their whiteboard this close to their chest because they're either drawing a cat or they're just flat out uncomfortable sharing their work. I think that this kind of promotes a sense of pride.
Also, it's a sense of accountability as well. Because if you, and you'll get answers from every student. So like you can look and see who's really misunderstanding at that moment from the answers that they give you, because you can't call on 18 students.
Yes.
I think that's...
What I like is that a lot of the time when I am doing a whole group instruction and I model something, sometimes I'll model how to do it correctly and sometimes I'll model how to do it incorrectly and they have to correct me. But at the end of the day, they're commenting on my work and my brain and my 26-year-old mind doing second grade math, as opposed to students being able to comment and reflect on other kids' work, which is a really valuable experience.